We will now look at square roots. So the idea of a square root, the square root of a number a, particular of a non-negative number. Is a non-negative number b such that b squared is equal to a. And we represent this as the square root of a is equal to b. So when we're looking for a square root, we're looking what number times itself is equal to this. For example, the square root of 9 would be 3, since 3 times 3 is 9. There are a couple of things we need to watch out for. First off, I specifically said non-negative numbers. Negative numbers do not have square roots. For example, we said the square root of 9 is 3. If we tried to find the square root of negative 9, we would need a number times itself that's equal to negative 9. Well, 3 times 3 is positive 9, and negative 3 times negative 3 is also positive 9. So there's no number that times itself would be negative. Another thing, the square root of 0 is always 0, since 0 times 0 is 0. Another one, so the square root of a positive number is always positive. Like we said a second ago, 3 times 3 is 9, but negative 3 times negative 3 is also 9. However, the square root of 9 is 3, not negative 3, since square roots are always positive. In addition, if we have a square root and we square it, we just get the number. They cancel each other out. So let's do some examples. The square root of 36, we want to know what number times itself is 36. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. The square root of 4.9 squared, the square and the square root will cancel, and we just have 4.9. The square root of 4 over 25. Well, we know the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 25 is 5. And we can see that 2 over 5 times 2 over 5 is 4 over 25. The square root of negative 81. Like we said, negative numbers cannot have square roots. So we write DNE for does not exist. The one other thing that we have is if we have a square root of a number squared. Well, square roots need to always be positive, so it's the absolute value. So we'll do some examples of that. The square root of 7.3 squared is the absolute value of 7.3, which is just 7.3. The absolute value of, or the square root of x squared is the absolute value of x. And we don't know what the absolute value of x is. We have no idea what x is, so it stays like that. The square root of negative 8.4 squared would be the absolute value of negative 8.4, which is positive 8.4. In our last example, the square root of 0 is 0.